Today's wrestling news, Ric Flair reveals a cancer diagnosis.
Tom Pestock fires back at Dave Meltzer.
Mone adds another belt to her collection.
And what's going on with this absent AEW star?
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news times? My name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan to talk all things wrestling news. But first up, Ric Flair. He has announced to People magazine here in the UK that he has a diagnosis with cancer, and it's skin cancer, and it's apparently the second time in 3 years that he's had this dealt with skin cancer, unfortunately. So he said he's going to be getting treatment next week, but he's usually quite quiet about sort of health issues and things like that. Like historically throughout his career, he's always been a bit quiet about it, but there was rumors going around online and things like that, and that's when he kind of decided to share the news publicly. Obviously he's had quite a few battles with health scares and things in sort of recent years. He had a blood clot in his leg a year or two ago, and in 2017 he had a huge problem with his kidneys and things like that. So yeah, just another battle for Ric Flair. Obviously whenever something like this happens, it's crap news. It's horrible. It doesn't matter who it is. It's always a horrible diagnosis. So all we can do is sort of wish him the best, hope he gets well soon, and hope he gets the best treatment he can and gets through this.
Yeah, not an awful lot to add to that. It is just a case of just sending well wishes to Rick. Yeah, not good, not awful. Just hearing anybody having to go through cancer. So wish him the best going forward, and I'm sure we'll get updates on it as we go. So yeah, that's that story. Moving into a bit more kind of petty wrestling silliness, just the fun stuff to talk about, really. Tom Pestock has got a bit of a thing going on right now with Dave Meltzer. It all sort of stemmed from when the former Baron Corbin mentioned, I believe it was on Busted Open, he was talking about R-Truth, the departure of R-Truth from WWE. Now, I'll read the quote. It was just sort of comparing the current era to the Vince era and how Vince would have done stuff and all that stuff. So it's, say what you want about Vince. Vince cared about his talent and he cared about the fans. Everything else in his life is his business and whatever he's dealing with. Guys like Taker, someone who's been loyal. When you watch Vince talk about Taker, he starts crying because he loves him and his loyalty. R-Truth has been nothing but loyal. He's done everything that he's ever been asked. He's gotten everything to work, even some S-word that's really questionable over the years. He's made it very entertaining. I think you're sitting in that locker room, you have to realise, oh, S-word, if I'm not on TV for a month, it could be me next. I think for the locker room, they're going to come to a harsh realisation that loyalty no longer matters. I think that it has become what the NFL a little bit is, a paper league, in my opinion, where it's no longer about the person, it's about what's on paper. And Meltzer saw that. I think it was Inside the Ropes put that on X as a kind of they talked about that particular quote, and then Meltzer responded to that quote by saying, I think he quote tweeted it or posted it, whatever it is on X now. He said, somebody should count up how many cuts were made in the years prior to TKO ownership and the years after. The imaginary family that cut people left and right during the pandemic when there were no indies or other places to work and when the profit margin was actually higher than pre-pandemic. So then Pestock saw that and did his own reply, and things got a bit tasty. So, someone should count the amount of toxic fans you have created with your nonsense, is what he put. And then he continued, you're responsible for the division between fans, ruined storylines, false reports, tribalism, and negativity surrounding wrestling. You are, I think you forgot the word A there, but it's fine. He put, you are a black cloud over all wrestling. Tell us how you really feel, Mr. Pestock. My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of one of those things where there's definite points on both sides. And I think both sides are also right in their own way. What Tom Pestock was saying, sort of, leave the sort of Vince McMahon bit out of it, because, he's the sex offender. But the loyalty part of it, not just to Vince McMahon, but to, WWE as a thing, loyalty was rewarded in WWE. Historically, going back a long time, things like Legends deals and, things like that, where, even when you're not actively wrestling, you're still getting something for years and years and years to come. There was loyalty definitely was paid, handsomely within WWE. But at the same time, what Dave Meltzer was saying, Vince McMahon fired a lot of people that he didn't have space for over the years in terrible sort of situations. The pandemic ones are the ones that obviously stand out because you're literally putting people out there into a world where there is absolutely no other way of them making any money doing what they do. There's no like conventions, there's no wrestling, there's no indie scene, there's no anything going on. And that is far worse than letting a contract expire, which is what this was, into a world where there's TNAs, there's AEWs, there's indies, there's WrestleCons, there's like R-Truth himself, like obviously like WWE lifer. I assumed he was going to be a WWE lifer, but he's like 54 or something now. He's ridiculously old. He still looks like he's 20 or something, but he is going out into a world where he probably never needs to wrestle ever again. He'll make a goddamn killing at the conventions, and like even if that's the only thing he ever does in wrestling again, he'll still make a fortune out of it and he'll be absolutely fine. He's got his music, he's got like 20 years of a WWE payments that he can fall back on. He's gonna be fine, really.
Yeah. And there's no saying that he won't pop up back in WWE again, and like the Legends deals, all those kind of things. Like I don't feel like this is just it now forever. I think it was just probably, I think it has been mentioned, I think Meltzer may have mentioned it in the Observer, where it was just literally the size of contract he was on compared to the amount he was being used was just something that the company went, it'll make a lot of sense right now, which
it's like, it's crappy, but it's business, and that's the way business works, and it's like that's just the system we live in. Unfortunately, it sucks, but that's kind of it. When you bring some people up, there needs to be room to make room for them. There's not like a never-ending space available on the main roster. That's just how it is and always will be, unfortunately. So it absolutely sucks that like R-Truth got released. He was amazing and really entertaining every single time he's on TV, and I still think it's baffling that they've got rid of him. But he'll be okay, and it's like it sucks, but it isn't what it was once upon a time. But then also, Pestock, what he was saying about Dave Meltzer and like adding to tribalism and things like that is also completely true. So it's like there's points. Everyone is right here in their own little way, but I think there's like a middle ground in there somewhere that I think we can all agree on. Yeah,
definitely. I think that's the way of looking at it.
But let us know down in the comments below. Let's get tribal. Let's ruin everything.
Sharpen your pitchforks. Let's do it.
But also, speaking of just wrestling and things going on, that's what news is about.
That's what this video is, you know.
That's
all about
what
the
this
wrestling
video
news.
is. Wrestling and things going on. Mercedes Mone, she has been adding more belts to her collection. She showed up at the European Wrestling Association Prater-Katchen event in Vienna, Austria, of all places, completely randomly, unannounced, just a bizarre like event thing that she just showed up at. It's like a 2-day event, and on the first day she won the EWA Women's Championship against Mila Schmidt and the champion Lexa Valo. Now it is like a 2-day event, so there's another one going on today, so who knows if she's going to do something there and it's just going to be like a weird 1-day title reign or something. But otherwise, that's another belt added to Mercedes Mone's collection, and just her continuation of just wrestling wherever the hell she feels like it all over the world on a whim, seemingly, which is kind of what she always wanted to do when she left WWE. So good for her is what I'm saying.
Living her best life, isn't it? And it's just more gold just makes money look more awesome at this point. So yeah, hopefully she holds on to it long enough, maybe to bring it onto AEW TV just to show off even more, adds to that character, helps like build up to that Tony Storm match and all that kind of stuff. I'm into it. But somebody obviously who had quite the relationship with Mercedes Mone, I was going to say quite recently, but it's been a while now, but Kamille was somebody on AEW TV who was there with Mone, like she was like the heavy, she was the person who just beat everyone up for her, and then she disappeared for a bit. There was like a split.
Are you stupid or are you dumb?
That's. I thought you were just calling me.
That
out
was my favourite moment. Sorry, and that's my general thoughts
you.
about you.
He does say that a lot when the cameras aren't off as well, in that exact voice.
That's why are you stupid or are you dumb?
See why I froze. I was like, whoa, he's gone off script again. God damn it.
Again.
So not again. I cry every day. So yeah, that's like a thing. She disappeared. The stupid thumb, all that kind of stuff happened, and now we've got a bit of an update. What's going on with Kamille? So Fightful Select are reporting that obviously she's been out of action, but they found out more on what's going on. So those close to Kamille have been a bit quiet about a time off, so they're not really saying what's going on. It's obviously been 6 months since we last really saw her on AEW. But based on what Fightful's heard, she won't be back anytime soon. But there's a good reason for that. So It's all that, like Wardlow, who also hasn't really been seen on AEW TV for quite some time, Kamille has an upcoming TV product or project, that kind of thing, that she's working on, that will have her very busy through most of the summer. Or a big chunk of the summer. So Fightful's not really heard if a similar meeting went down that, led to Wardlow not being brought back for the same kind of reasons, where they had like a similar sort of conversation before that happened. I believe the one with Wardlow was like, we don't see the point in bringing you back, just to, for a little bit, and then you have to go and do the TV thing. So I don't know if that sort of happened with Kamille as well. When asking in AEW, so they asked the people in AEW about the absence of Kamille, Fightful were told that talent were pretty much in the dark about what was going on with her, and they didn't really hear a specific reason. It was believed that Tony Khan himself didn't really feel like the whole Mone and Kamille thing was working, but it was clarified by a number of sources that Mercedes was actually willing to work with Kamille and do a match, but didn't happen, obviously. She just disappeared, and stupid, dumb, that thing happened. So, that was something that was discussed back in December. We're now in June, so bit of a while. And as of this moment, it seems that she's benched. She's just they're not using her right now. But she's going to be working on that TV project in summer. She's got plenty of time left on her AEW deal, so it's not a case of her being running down her contract and being like, right, peace out, I'm going to jump over to NXT in the next month or so. It's not going to happen from the looks of it. And she's been doing sign-ins, but she's not wrestled really since disappearing from TV outside of a battle royal on the indies, it says there. So I didn't see that battle royal. If anybody did see it, let me know. How was she? Was she good? Did she win? I can't remember. Didn't see it. But Kamille is doing TV work right now.
Yeah, fair enough. At least it's a reason. It's not just randomly being kept off TV because, for the sake of it. It was just a strange little time in AEW. She had the story with Mercedes Mone and things like that. It never hugely clicked, but it also just never ended either. It just kind of stopped. And she kind of disappeared. So it'd be good to get her back on TV, get her actually something that she can sink her teeth into, and just get a chance to show what she can do, which is
there's a star there, isn't there? There's definitely star power.
There. Just needs that little bit of a chance. But also, she was sort of quite green when she was doing that stuff, and not being able to wrestle for 6 months or whatever it else, isn't going to help at this point in her career. But hopefully, just all plans come together and we can sort of get moving on this and see what she can do going forwards and get her back on TV.
Hell yeah.
But that is it. That is the news. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want, you can follow us over on the old social medias. You can follow me at Fill My Chambers, and you can follow this guy at his gazillion goddamn accounts.
Yeah, I got X at gmorgan04. I got Instagram at GarethMoregram because I'm punny. And then within the Instagram, I've also got a fitness account where I talk about personal training and nutrition, all that kind of stuff. And that's at fitness.focus.gm.
Fill My Chambers on all of them.
Yeah, you're simple.
Easy.
I'm not.
And most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.